During the 20th century, railway guns represented the largest mobile artillery systems ever constructed, combining naval-scale firepower with land-based strategic mobility. This reference documents every major railway gun built and deployed during the 20th century, covering experimental prototypes, limited production systems, and operational weapons used by major military powers. The following narration presents a complete, catalog-style overview intended for technical and historical reference. This catalog covers railway guns developed and built between 1900 and 2000. The geographic scope includes Europe, North America, and Asia, reflecting all known national programs that produced full-scale railway-mounted artillery. The organizational structure is chronological and role-based, progressing from early naval-derived railway guns through interwar and Second World War super-heavy artillery, and concluding with the final Cold War-era systems. This presentation is strictly encyclopedic and designed as a comprehensive reference overview. Early 20th century naval-derived railway guns. As naval artillery increased in caliber at the turn of the century, armies adapted surplus and purpose-built naval guns for transport to achieve long-range land fire support. Cannon D 305mm Model 1893-96 Sir aft truck originating in France and manufactured by Schneider. This railway gun mounted a 305mm naval cannon. Its primary role was long-range siege and coastal defense fire. The gun used a reinforced rail carriage with limited traverse. It was employed because it allowed heavy naval caliber firepower to be repositioned inland using existing rail infrastructure. Cannon D 340mm Model 1912 Sir aft Glismentivlud in France by Schneider. This system mounted a 340mm naval gun. Its role focused on counter-battery fire and deep rear area bombardment. The sliding recoil system absorbed firing forces along the track. It remained relevant due to its extended range and compatibility with standard gauge railways. BL 12-inch railway gun produced by the United Kingdom using Vickers naval guns. This 305mm system served in coastal defense and long-range bombardment. It featured a reinforced turntable mounting. The system was used to provide heavy fire support without the need for permanent fortifications. First World War super heavy railway artillery. The static nature of trench warfare facilitated the development of extramelarge railway guns designed for strategic bombardment. Paris gun Kaiser Wilhelm Jesch Ts developed in Germany by Krupp. This 210mm long barrel gun was designed for ultra-long-range strategic bombardment. It fired modified naval shells at extreme altitudes. Its use was justified by its ability to strike targets beyond conventional artillery range, despite limited accuracy. 38cm SK L45 Max railway gun manufactured in Germany by Krupp. This 380mm gun originated from naval battleship armament. Its primary role was siege and counter-fortification fire. It used a multi-axle railway carriage with prepared firing positions. It remained operational due to its destructive power against hardened targets. 42cm Gamma Gert auf Eisenbahnwagenbild by Krupp. This 420mm railway-adapted siege gun supported fortress reduction. It featured separate transport components assembled on site. Its relevance lay in its unmatched shell weight and effectiveness against reinforced concrete defenses. Cannon D 400mm Model 1915-1916 produced in France by Schneider. This 400mm railway gun was used for strategic bombardment. It employed a fixed firing position with extensive ground preparation. The weapon was used to deliver high-mass shells at ranges unattainable by conventional field artillery. Interwar period and experimental systems. Following the First World War, railway artillery development slowed but continued in limited experimental and modernization programs. Cannon D 340mm Model 1912 Modifié 1934 Franceized its existing 340mm guns for improved elevation and fire control. The role remained long-range bombardment. Updated recoil systems extended service life and operational flexibility. A Busier D 370mm Model 1915 Sur aft ferroviaria French Schneider design. This 370mm howitzer focused on high-angle fire against fortifications. Its distinguishing feature was its shorter barrel optimized for heavy shells. It was retained for siege roles where steep trajectories were required. Second World War German railway guns. Germany produced the most extensive and technically advanced railway artillery systems of the 20th century, emphasizing Zingtrim caliber and range. 28 cm K5E developed by Krupp. This 280mm railway gun served in long-range counter-battery and coastal bombardment roles. It featured a long barrel and rotating mount. Its continued relevance came from its accuracy and mobility compared to larger super-heavy systems. 80 cm KE Schwerer Gustav, Andorra, manufactured by Krupp. These 800mm railway guns were the largest artillery pieces ever built. Their role was the destruction of heavily fortified targets. They required extensive rail infrastructure and large crews. They were used because no other weapon could deliver equivalent shell mass against deep fortifications. 38 cm SKC-34 auf Eisenbahnwagene, German adaptation of naval artillery. This 380mm gun was used for coastal defense and siege operations. Its key feature was compatibility with naval ammunition. It remained operational due to its balance of firepower and logistical feasibility. Allied Second World War railway artillery. Allied nations employed railway guns primarily for coastal defense and strategic bombardment rather than super-heavy siege roles. 14-inch railway gun M1920 developed in the United States by the U.S. Navy and Army cooperation. This 356mm gun served in coastal defense. It featured a rotating mount with reinforced outriggers. It was relevant due to its naval-grade firepower deployed inland. 12-inch railway mortar M1920, an American 305mm high-angle system designed for plunging fire. Its role focused on harbor and coastal defense. The mortar configuration differentiated it from direct-fire railway guns. BL 14-inch railway gunist by the United Kingdom. This 356mm system originated from surplus naval guns. It supported coastal defense roles. The system provided long-range deterrence against naval targets using land-based infrastructure. Soviet railway artillery systems. The Soviet Union maintained railway artillery as part of its coastal and strategic defense doctrine. TM-114 railway gun developed by the Soviet Union using 356mm naval guns. This system served in coastal defense. It used a reinforced multi-axle rail carriage. Its relevance stemmed from the ability to relocate heavy coastal artillery rapidly. TM-312 railway gun, a 305mm Soviet railway gun designed for naval-based defense. It featured improved elevation and fire control. It remained in service due to its compatibility with existing naval ammunition stocks. Japanese and other Axis railway guns. Japan and other Axis powers produced limited numbers of railway artillery systems, primarily for coastal defense. Type 90 24cm railway gun developed in Japan. This 240mm system supported coastal and base defense. It used a simple rail mounting with limited traverse. Its use reflected industrial constraints and defensive priorities. Ansaldo 381mm railway gun produced in Italy by Ansaldo. This 381mm gun was adapted from naval artillery. Its role focused on coastal defense and strategic fire support. It remained limited in number due to logistical complexity. Post-war and Cold War railway artillery. After the Second World War, railway guns rapidly declined as missilescent air power replaced heavy artillery. Soviet 305mm TM-312M, an upgraded Soviet system retained for coastal defense into the early Cold War. Improvements included fire control and crew protection. It persisted due to existing infrastructure and stockpiled ammunition. U.S. railway gun test platforms. The United States conducted limited post-war testing using modified railway mounts for large caliber guns. These systems had no operational deployment. Their purpose was ballistic research rather than battlefield use. This catalog has documented the complete spectrum of railway guns built during the 20th century, from early naval adaptations to the final Cold War-era systems. Covered systems include all known operational, experimental, and limited production railway artillery platforms. This reference reflects the full, technical, and historical range of railway-mounted artillery development. For additional encyclopedic military technology catalogs, viewers may subscribe for continued coverage.